So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Happy Friday, June 13th. Welcome back to the show. Market open. Maybe we'll stream for an hour or so today, depending on what topics we have to cover, how the conversation goes, what questions that you guys have. If you were going to sleep last night and watching the news, you know that Israel attacked Iran. we were rewatching Top Gun Maverick, which interestingly enough is about a rogue nation developing nuclear weapons and the U.S. going in to attack a uranium enrichment facility. And then we ended the movie and I was like, Israel's attacking Iran for the very same thing here. Top right. Futures were down 600 points last night. They trimmed up some of the losses in pre-market. Now we have the markets open for 6 minutes. So we're going to go through some tickers and looking at my screener here of who the big movers are. I see a lot of energy companies, understandably. Middle East, oil prices going up under uncertainty. Flight to safety in the dollar, probably, I bet, if I look at the gold and silver miners, I bet they are up as well. Green, 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 green. Yep. What is gold up to these days? $34.64. Silver at $36.38. So congrats if you're a metal holder or if you've been investing in energy companies. I saw you guys chatting with Anya about some defense picks. RTX is one of her favorites right now. Good job, Anya. European markets, I think they closed in the red. Or not, sorry, they're not closed. I think they are in the red. Come on. Womp, womp, womp. Blazin', how you doing this morning? Anya, SLV, I'm sure it's up, yeah. What I have here on the screen is a couple of basket stocks. Top left is a basket of gold junior miners. And top right is a basket of silver junior miners. Then I have GLD down here. That is the counterpart to SLV. And then, of course, we have Hycroft down in the right, just for fun. Hycroft announcing on the same day as GameStop that they were going to be issuing shares. And I saw a headline this morning when I woke up that they upsized their offering too, from 40 million to 43 million, I believe is what I read. Hycroft was down about, what, 25% yesterday. It looks like it's down 6% this morning. Company needed to raise cash. We've gone over that. It is what it is. Welcome to junior miners. As long as they're not mining and they're spending cash exploring, at some point they're going to run out of cash and they're going to need more. So make sure on them junior miners, ladies and gentlemen, that you are reading the financial statements and the footnotes from management so that you can anticipate these things. You know, it was actually, Hycroft's been a pretty good trade. If you got in at $1.90 or $2, it ran all the way up to $4.70 with silver prices going up. But the reason I want to read the footnotes and understand the financials is so that I have in the back of my mind, might be a good time to peel a little bit of profits off because I know dilution is coming and I can take those profits. And if I really love this company, I could go in and buy more. I don't own any Hycroft. I'm just telling you my general train of thought of how I look at pretty much all these companies, especially the speculative ones when they're running up. Speaking of speculative and offerings, we got GameStop this morning up almost 2.5%, 2.25%. 22.62. My low entry yesterday was 21.61. I did not quite get the bottom, but that's okay. I am back on the board with a bigger position than I had in March, and we'll wait and see what happens. GameStop upsized their offering. God dang, man. $2.7 billion now. Holy shit. What was it? 2.35 plus option to sell another 450 million. Oh. Ryan Cohen's stacking cash for what? We don't know, but man, he's stacking some cash. The funny thing about the GameStop, I'm trying really hard to not comment on X, but all these people like, oh, if you think about it, you know, GameStop's going to have $9 billion in cash now, $8 billion, whatever. And their market cap is 9, 10, 11, pick your number, 13, which means that 75% of the market cap is cash. Therefore, there's no reason it should be trading at $20. It should be at 40 or 50. What these, I acknowledge that those comments are out there, and while correct on the face initial assumption that they assert, if you just look at cash, you could say that 75% of the market cap is backed by cash. But what these guys are leaving out, where they're tricking you, is they're not talking about the liabilities. You've got now what, 1.7 billion in bonds from March, and now another 2.7, over 4 billion in debt on the balance sheet at GameStop. And you can't just ignore that, which is why we have book value as a metric. It takes the assets and it subtracts the liabilities. And then we distill that down to book value per share, which for GameStop is still $11.16, even with all this cash they raised, because on your balance sheet, you're putting the cash, but on the asset side, but you're putting liabilities you're putting debt on the liability side. They're not making any real headway in terms of book value. They are making headway in stacking cash as potential to do something really interesting. That part I like. But I'm not going to get so unhinged from reality that I ignore that, you know, there's no ROA, there's no ROIC, there's no ROE, there's minimal earnings. And any price that I'm going in on GameStop, which I did yesterday, I recognize what is fair value versus what is speculative value. And I'm not going to fall for the tricks of people saying the entire market cap is backed by cash. That is a trick. That is, or just people with what I'll say, very poor analysis, in my opinion. Let's be nice. Anya says she tried to grab some GME at 21.53. Yeah, my last purchase in March, Anya, was I think 21.55. So I got in 5 cents higher this time around. But I'm okay with paying a little bit more this time around because now we have a little bit of idea of what the cycle looks like, from March to May. Now maybe we repeat that cycle. I can't say that, that's going to happen for sure. But sure would be nice. I'd take it. If they have a little consolidation here for a week while the bond traders sort out their hedging strategy and all that. And then maybe, look, people are going to be excited over GameStop's Q2 because of the switch to and jettisoning Canada, getting more losses off the income statement. I think there's going to be some social media commentary from the promoters of GameStop drumming up excitement about Q2 over the next several months. That's a great swing trade for those of you who, I think, those of you that get in low here yesterday. Maybe there's a chance it runs back up over 30. We'll see. That's the gamble I'm taking. I'm not gambling on a MOAS. I'm not gambling on $500 price targets promised by the GameStop YouTubers. Ridiculous. But hey, 50% run up in a month. I'll take that. Take that all day long. Take that all day long, baby. Let's go. Bitcoin this morning, 105,000. Got a little bit of pressure overnight, but it is recovering nicely. Good luck if you're playing MSTR or any of the derivative products of that. Let's take a quick look at Tesla here on the daily. I want to set myself a little alarm about 285. Just in case. A reminder to come back and take a look. Maybe pick some up. Anybody in the room trading Tesla? So damn volatile, man. It's scaring me to death on trying to day trade options on Tesla right now. But shares, if I get a good buy-in, I'm not so scared. All right, what else we got? AMC down slightly this morning. It has been on a downtrend going on weeks now. Since 527, we're at 613. 2 weeks of downward trend, heading back down towards that demand zone while we wait on news of a bondholder lawsuit settlement and a proxy statement. And we have 17 days left to finish out Q2. While we're here, let's look at box office real quick while we're talking about AMC briefly. Box office mojo. Oh, we saw How to Train Your Dragon on Wednesday. Fantastic movie if you love How to Train Your Dragon. You know what I was thinking as I was watching this movie? It was a very faithful recreation of the original, which I appreciate. And there was not Hollywood trying to shove some woke narrative, new narrative into the film. Now, some of the critics, I think it's rated about 77% by the critics, 99% by the audience. Some of the critics are saying, well, they didn't do anything new. Bros, that's what we want. We want to see a faithful recreation in a new format. Thank you to the producers and directors of How to Train Your Dragon for not effing it up. Thank you. It was a beautiful film in terms of visuals. and the human actors, fantastic. I enjoyed everything about it. Was it over the top? You know, no, it's not like the first time you saw Avatar where everything was brand new. You knew what to expect in this story, and you got exactly what you expected in a stunning visual format. I liked it. Ethan says, I bought 3 BTC in 2012 for $50 and traded them for drugs. Man, Ethan, I remember my story of BTC back in the day, looking at it and saying, that'll never go nowhere. Look, I was, you know how many decades I've been around? Of course I knew about Bitcoin, but I was not a believer. You could have just bought a couple back then, just for fun. Just goes to show you, you know, try a few things for fun, see what happens. Not drugs though, kids. Drugs will fuck you up. Box office for Q2 standing at 2.095. Let's call it 2.1 billion. Our original target for June for Q2 is 2.8 billion. That's 700 million that we would need to capture in 3 weekends. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I was just posting in the Discord yesterday the top 3 expectations for this weekend. And what we're going to come in this weekend around 150 million. So that'll get us around 2.25, maybe 2.3. And we got 2 more weekends with some big movies coming up. Maybe we get. I lowered my expectation to be safe to 2.6, but I'd still take a beat if some of these last movies help us out. And guys, we're doing our part to go see some movies. I hope you are, if you like and want to support the movie industry. We got a lot of movies, but let's talk about the big ones. 28 years later. You still got time to go watch the first 2 movies if you haven't. Some of the classic zombie movies out there. June 20th, that movie comes out. I will try and see that one early. I have not booked tickets for it yet, but we're both excited about that, Scarlett and myself. Elio is coming out. I'm not expecting huge things from Elio, but maybe it'll surprise me. And then the last weekend of June, we have F1, which could be a sleeper surprise hit, and Megan 2, which is, you know, shaping up not really to be what we wanted it to be in terms of pre-sales. So that's what we got. That's what we got to get us through Q2. We got Megan, F1, Elio, 28 years later, and then of course this weekend, How to Train Your Dragon, which is probably going to be a $80 million film for opening weekend, I think. There's a couple of other smaller movies that I want to go see, but God man, Austin is the worst market. Like, they will only put the super popular movies in the theaters near me. And then, of course, the big AMC is on the other side of town. I got to deal with interstate traffic the entire way. Of course, you know, I want to be here if I can, trading or talking with you guys during the day. So then what? Now the movies start at 5 o'clock. So I got to get in rush hour traffic, sit in a parking lot of an interstate for an hour to go 12 miles. Or my other options, what, 10:30 p.m., go to the other side of town, get home at 1 a.m. It's irritating. Like, why can't you just have the good small movies, one showing a day and the other 2 AMC? Why do you got to, you show them 2 weeks and then they're gone? Jacob says, so excited for the new Superman. I am too, Jacob, and I think audiences are as well. let's take a, before we get back to stonks, let's take a quick look at July. I know it sounds dumb, but this is how much I love movies. While I'm checking stocks, I'm also opening up my app, saying, are there any movies I could see today? And what time could I possibly fit it in? I got to do some trading, do some work, take care of the animals, get my workout in. And then if I can get some videos out, do a live stream, and if I have time, can I get a movie in? 3 free movies a week with AMC A-List. What a freaking deal. Jurassic World Rebirth, July 2nd, starting off. This is Spinal Tap. I might go see that. 41st anniversary. Turn it up to 11. Superman, July 11th. Another classic, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You know, I've seen that movie more times than Spinal Tap. Jack Nicholson. Smurfs, Not too excited about that one. Here we go. Besides Superman, we got Fantastic Four: First Steps on July 25th. July should be a pretty good month. And then we go into August with Naked Gun. That's enough talking about movies. So. Top runners this morning, if you're looking for some tickers, HUS. I have a screener here, so this is not every top runner. This is top runners by criteria that I sort by to look for day trade or swing trade stocks. Certain market cap, certain float, and certain price appreciation. There's a lot of energy stocks here. Houston American Energy up 86%. I did not sort for energy stocks. These are just what bubbled to the top today. Bubbled, get it? Oil. U.S. Energy Corp up 66%. Eon Resources, Trio Petroleum, 9 Energy, MMTLP up 25%. I'm just kidding. It's not on here. It's canceled. Indonesia Energy up 24%. And Ring Energy up 10%. Moonmonk says he's trading TSLL. All right, let's take a quick look. Now's your chance, guys, to throw up some tickers you want folks to look at. I'm not going to. All right, okay, the Tesla Bull 2X. Well, that was a nice little morning run on that. Good luck on that trade. I like that. Those obviously are risky, but if you guess the timing and the direction correctly, you can make money on them. I've traded day traded options on Tesla quite often, although not recently. And I don't know that I've tried the 2X on Tesla. Don't recall. It's been a while. Some days I would, trading Tesla, I'd in my trading day by 9 o'clock. Well, honey, let's go have a nice lunch and celebrate. Some days I'd go cry in a corner, because you guessed the timing and the direction wrong. You can lose money and make money really quick on these. So manage your risk, and may the gods be with you. Anya says, did anybody see Karate Kid Legends? Yes. What can I say about that? Charming movie, fine movie. You kind of know what to expect with the formula for Karate Kid's Legends. And they delivered a flavor of the formula with some new twists. There were times as the movie was starting out that I was like, how is this fitting in with the formula? And it was just setting up the new characters and their motivations. And there were some unexpected turns, but eventually, about halfway in, it fell into the nice, comfortable formula we're familiar with. And then, towards the end, you had Ralph Macchio come in. You had some callbacks to, what's his name? Pat Akita? Mr. Miyagi. You had some early callbacks memories of him, and just genuinely a good movie, a good film. It's not going to make $1 billion, but it was a good film if you're looking for something to see. Dink says, just say it loud and proud, Austin sucks. It does get frustrating, Dink, in terms of the AMC movie offerings. Like, why can't we have a bigger cinema in North Austin? The other one that's on the other side of town for me, South Austin, is very close to downtown, and I guess that's what they're going for. But come on, man. It gets frustrating because then I got to make a choice. Just these smaller films, just not watch them because they already dropped off of the smaller, AMCs in my area. Drive to the other side of town, consider going to a competitor to see it, or just wait for it to come out on TV. I have not gone to a competitor, but there's some times that I get really, really frustrated. Richie Rich says he will keep a golden share in U.S. Steel after it's acquired by Nippon Steel. Bloomberg reported Thursday, citing Trump's comments at a White House event, the Nippon Steel executive. All right, let's U.S. Good old X. Holy smokes. I was not aware of that news. U.S. Steel slides 1 hour ago as Nippon executive cast caution on the deal. What is this? Oh, okay. Management said they would need a degree of management freedom. That is this next headline here. Planned takeover may not proceed if the Japanese company has insufficient freedom of management. U.S. President Trump said that the U.S. will have a golden share in U.S. Steel and that he would exercise total control over the fate of the steelmaker. I'm not too excited about U.S. Steel being owned by foreign entities. What do you guys think? I'm gonna side with President Trump on that. Blazin says oil and war is the main winner today. Yeah, what other defense stocks do you like besides RTX? How's old Palantir looking this morning? PLTR. Not strictly a defense stock, but in bed with the military industrial complex. Remember when we were looking at Palantir back here in the 12s and the 15s? And people told you not to invest in it because GameStop was the only stock to buy? You're up 900% now. Congratulations. Sure glad we didn't listen to those GameStop YouTubers. Idiots. Anya says no heart attacks during the talking to Blazin. All right, yeah. My ticker's good, Anya. I think you don't got to worry about me. Hopefully not, anyways. Yeah, Anya, I do remember. I remember Maggie up in Maine, and I hope that she held on to her Palantir and, that she's become a multi-billionaire now and maybe will build her own AMC franchise up in Maine. I mean, you never know. Remember her main complaint with AMC is they had not one theater in the entire state. That would be really frustrating. And a special shout out again to those of you that are watching, that some of y'all send me messages. You know, I'd go to AMC more, but it's an hour away, and I do go when I can. Shout out to you if you're driving an hour to go to the movies. You are the real G. MSTR slightly in the red. GameStop up now 3%, pushing on $23. Tesla slightly down. Bitcoin hanging around 104, 105. Let's look at our other meme stocks. Near and dear to our hearts, being pushed by the penny stock promoters. And I got a new one to talk about today. A new one to talk about today that's not on this screen. We got Finger, FNGR, which the promoters have been lying to you, telling you that Alibaba was going to come in and buy 10% of the company for $7 to $10 a share. Bald-faced lie. They have no shame. Penny stock promoters on social media telling you that there's an analyst with a $22 price target on Finger. Bald-faced lie. Penny stock promoters telling you that a going concern warning is standard boilerplate. Don't worry about it. All companies have it. Bald-faced lie. Are you seeing a trend here? And then they'll throw in the hundreds of billions of naked shorts. What are the chances, if the first three were a bald-faced lie, that the last one might be? I'm just asking you to think out of the box. I was commenting a month ago. I bought Finger at $1. I was commenting as it pushed from 3 to 5. Great time to consider taking a little profits off the table. Boy, did they get mad at me. But look at it now. Just a week or two later, it's lost 50%. And if you held on listening to these dumbasses telling you it was going to 500 or 1,000 bucks, you're down 50%. The bottom left, we have G-Bucks, almost no revenue penny stock, which the promoters convinced the company to issue a dividend, special warrant dividend, and then told their gullible sheep audience that G-Bucks was going to go to the moon because the shorts were going to be scared about a special warrant dividend. Well, that dividend has been now distributed, or in the process of being distributed. But of course, you know, the company flubbed it. Nobody got the dividend. They haven't received it in their account. They don't even know if they got it or not. They're having to take screenshots and email it to the company to prove they own shares. What a clusterfuck, man. Meanwhile, G-Bucks, this company with almost no revenue, has fallen. It ran up on a great FOMO run because the promoters pushed this nonsense idea. It ran up from $1, $2 to $5.70. Again, right around here, I was saying, guys, think about taking some profits, lock in profits. It's crashed also more than 50% since I said that at the beginning of June. And now people are wringing their hands. What? But you promised us a dividend. It's supposed to do something, right? Do something. It ain't doing shit. And who came out with another dividend today and is advertising to the PP Seeds BBBY crowd, targeting them? They're not even hiding it anymore. They're targeting people that they know fall for this crap. QNTM, Quantum, which has a beautiful FOMO run. Love it. $270 up to $19. I'm going to say the same thing. Might be a time to think about taking some profits off the table. If you love the stock, leave some in it and let it keep running. But man, if you were in at $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 and you're up 200-400%, I'd be peeling some off. Quantum announces today a special dividend, a new one that I've never heard of before, but one that they announced, and the promoters of the stock are already over in the BBBYQ groups over on X, Twitter, dropping this press release saying, hey, I heard you guys like special dividends. It's like dropping bait, dropping chum in a fishbowl of sheep, of gullible investors. I heard you like special dividends. We got one here. buy our stock. I don't mean to be mean and pick on Quantum. It's been a fantastic momentum trade. Wish I would have got in. Beautiful. Congrats. But the financials of this are a bit of a mess. So just keep that in mind as you're deciding how you're going to trade it. There will be a day of reckoning, I think, where it gets smashed back down. But we'll see. The special dividend for Quantum is, I forget what the terminology is. Maybe they have it in the news. It's a promise that if they win a lawsuit against the naked shorts, they're going to give you a small cash distribution. This is very creative. I mean, I'm going to give them credit. They gave away nothing. It's not dilution. It's not warrants. It's not cash. It didn't cost the company anything. Quantum BioPharma announces special dividend linked to the potential outcome of litigation proceeds. A CVR is what it's called. I'm just learning about this today. I don't know everything. Contingent value rights. The CVRs are linked to potential proceeds from a legal action against several banks for alleged stock price manipulation. I'm just going to say, so far, every company in the last 5 years I've been watching that has litigation against other parties for stock manipulation, those lawsuits have not really panned out with any success. But maybe, you know, I keep praying and hoping that one day one of them will. Quantum is promising you that if they were to win, whatever year they win, you know, if they win, that you will get up to 10 to 50% of any net proceeds. Now, much like MMTLP, get this, guys. Notice how these patterns repeat in the retail community. People are already putting out tweets. I've done the calculations, and I'm calculating this could be a $100 dividend. Remember when the MMTLP people were doing that to each other? Telling folks, you know, MMTLP is going to pay out a $60 dividend. Hold that stock to the moon, even though the company is being taken private. It's already begun with Quantum. And that is what irritates me. I love the chart. I love the momentum. I love the people that are locking in profits or making profits, even on paper. Don't let them slip away. But I see a lot of the same manipulative tactics that they foist on all of retail, dangling a special dividend that it's going to mean something to the shorts. It ain't going to mean jack shit. Creating speculative dividend payout theories. First of all, what's the probability that this lawsuit goes past discovery? Low. And then what's the probability if it passes that the company prevails? Also low, based on, not my opinion, but evidence of every other case we've been watching in this space. Low probability. No fucking shorts are worried, but just the prospect of people saying that is going to drive this stock price up. So could be a momentum trade for some of y'all. I'm not saying don't play it. I'm saying use your head. Use your head. Lock in profits. Let's see. Thoughts on MP. New Mocha Joe, how you doing this morning? Drinking my mocha here, just about ready to make a second cup. Nice push up on MP Materials Corp, $10 back in August, up to $29. 200% push up. I'm not familiar with this ticker, so let's read here real quick. Let me get back on the right screen for you guys. MP Materials produces specialty materials that are vital inputs for electrification and other advanced technology. They own and operate Mountain Pass rare earth mine and processing facility in California. It is also developing a rare earth metal alloy and magnet manufacturing facility in Fort Worth, Texas. Yeehaw! Company's segments include materials and magnetics. All right. I like what I'm reading so far. Let me just do a quick stock analysis check on this one. Stonkanalysis.com. MP. Let's just see what we got, because I'm interested. I'm going to do a shortcut real quick and see what the analysts are saying. $25 average price target, high price target of 34. Revenues forecast at around 252 million this year, going up to 800 million over the next 3 years. Nice. Earnings per share are negative, but forecast to go positive and triple over the next 3 years. All right, so that's why people are excited about it, as long as that story about rare earth mining holds true. Revenues, nothing too exciting, looking at the past history. So this is a story about the future. If you believe what I would presume are market expectations and management expectations about revenue, I'd need to go read up for a day why they think that is the case. I have no comment on if it is likely to happen that way or not. Just looking at the past trends, net income going the wrong direction, but again, it's a story about the future. Negative EPS, and it looks like they've been doing some share buybacks, which is nice to see. Balance sheet, very quickly, 198 in cash. Working capital is in fine shape, and shareholders' equity is good. Working capital, we're looking at total current assets minus total current liabilities. You want that to be a positive number. We got 1 billion minus 248 gives you down here at the bottom 774 positive working capital. Remember, I know I keep on repeating myself, but if you see a negative number there, what I want you to automatically think, if this is your first time here, is there's a probability, a high probability of future dilution. That's the first thing. You don't even need to be a CPA. You don't need to read anything. If you see a negative working capital, there's a chance of future dilution in the near term, and you ought to then use that as a warning sign to go read up in the company's latest filings and see what they're telling you about their liquidity. This here is good. Got a positive working capital. Shareholders' equity is our total assets minus total liabilities, and we want that to be positive also. And we're good here. So the balance sheet's in good shape. 198 million in cash. Let's see what they're burning quarterly. 198 million on the balance sheet. 560 million in short-term investments, giving them a total of cash and short-term investments of 759 million. A handsome amount. Let's see what they're burning operations-wise. Only 63 million a quarter. So looks like plenty of cash runway there. Plenty. 10 quarters of cash runway. At the worst. I mean, they have some months where they have positive operating cash flow. The final check we'll do, including CapEx, let's look at free cash flow. Negative 93, negative 11, negative 53. Yeah, I mean, they have, I don't see screaming at me impending dilution risk. So maybe, This could be a company worth spending some of your time digging into, because Wall Street is thinking about the next 3 years, revenue greatly increasing, net income greatly increasing. Do some digging. Maybe I will too. Let's add this one to the list and see if this might be a story for your long-term holds. This would be a 3-year play if that story pans out. Chris says, what is your box office estimate from now till end of June? I am at 2.6, Chris, with a outside chance, a hope, a prayer, and a dream that we could still see between 2.6 and 2.8. I feel like 2.6 is a 90% safety probability. And then any upside beyond that, I would love to see it, but I'm not going to commit to it. Spike VT, what's up, amigo? Greg says, I think Ryan Cohen doing this rug pull is going to cost GME probably 30-40% of its faithful investors. Greg. I mean, it's a good question, Greg. I'm not going to argue with you. And yeah, I mean, those of us that spend some of our free time monitoring social sentiment on many different tickers, or one ticker if you're just GME, you've seen some of the people getting really frustrated that every time this stock, GameStop, starts to get a chance to build some steam, the company rug pulls investors. And I'm just going to say the same thing that I've been saying for a long time. I treat GameStop like any other stock. And my belief is management, you guys have heard me say this, management is going to continue to use retail and traders being willing to overpay for the stock. They are going to use you to improve the company for the long term. Now, is that bad if you're a long-term investor for GameStop? No. If you are smart and get in at the low entries like we do here. 21 bucks. I like that entry. Could it go lower? Yeah, it could go lower. It's a speculative price even at 21 bucks. Could absolutely go lower. But I don't see a lot of company-specific risk from GameStop unless Ryan Cohen were to announce he's leaving the company. That might tank the stock. We have more, if I weigh risk versus reward, I think there's more potential for reward than risk. We do have market risk, global tension risk, but you're not going to escape that in any ticker. So I'm not going to comment about that. No matter what stock I was in, if the market tanks because someone drops a nuke in the Middle East, no ticker is going to save you. So I'm just focusing on like, what is GameStop's prospects and what are the company specific risks? Not a lot. They're going to be profitable. They're jettisoning the unprofitable locations, including Canada now. And people are going to be excited in Q2 about the Switch 2. So, you know, the traders that you're talking about, who was that, Greg, that are mad are probably the ones listening to the GameStop people saying, buy any day, every day, at any price. Don't worry about it. Shut the fuck up. Trust Ryan Cohen. He's got a plan. He's got a plan. His plan is to stuff cash in the company coffers at your expense. So my only words are, do not buy every day at any price. Be intelligent. Be patient. I've bought and sold GameStop so many times over the last couple of years and made profitable trades on every single one of them, except I think one quarter I got out flat. You got to unplug from these people pushing the hopium nonsense and just look at this as a regular stock with rational management that understands when their stock is overvalued and uses that as an opportunity to raise cash. They don't hate you. They're not helping the shorts. They are making the best financial decision given the circumstances, which is the stock is wildly above fair value on almost no positive earnings. Of course, they're going to raise cash. You should expect it. That is why I buy cheap here. 21 bucks in April, sell at 33. A few weeks later, sit and be patient on my hands for a couple weeks. Now I'm back in at 21.61. Couple shares higher than that, but my low entry was 21.61. And guess what? I bet we go right back up over the next couple months. If you can make the shift to treating this like a normal stock, I think you will be fairly successful. And were there to be another Roaring Kitty event, or the shorts really do have hundreds of billions of naked shares stuffed away in XRP, you know, I don't get into all that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. That would just be a bonus for me. I want to just get in at a good price and then be able to sleep at night, not be angry, not be sad, not have to come on a live stream and show you that I'm down $6,000 because I didn't sell when I was up $10,000 in May, like some of the GameStop YouTubers. I mean, can you imagine if you were up $10,000 and you didn't sell? But what if you had? Instead of being a loudmouth, you know, badgering asshole, badgering people not to sell, telling them it was going to run to 40, 50, 500, you could have locked in $10,000 profits, waited a couple weeks, and increased your position size by 50% by using common sense and patience, understanding how management thinks, not getting sucked into what retail traders hope. Think like a CFO. It will change your life. Dink says AMC has a bond principal payment this weekend. Yes, we've talked about AMC, and not only a Dink, can you look up for me what is the date? Maybe Grok can tell you on AMC's 2025 bond maturities. It's in June, right? AMC has not only oh, is that what you're talking about? The paying off the remaining balance of the 2025 bonds. It's a little confusing to me, the exact dollar amount, but it's, let's just say 50 million that the company's going to have to pay in June. It's somewhere between 45 and 60, but let's just say 50. I wish I could get it straight, but every time I look at the 10Q in different parts of the 10Q, it talks about it in different ways. 615, he says. All right. 615 is when the AMC 2025 bonds mature. They will be done. The company is on the hook to pay roughly $50 million this weekend. Those bonds will then fall off the liabilities, but so does the cash, which is, you know, in our DD, as we're analyzing AMC and trying to decide when are we going to get back in, we're looking at cash, we're looking at liquidity, we're looking at the bond maturities, which no one else will talk about. They don't want to tell you that the company's going to have to spend $50, $60 million. They don't want to tell you that. But I factor that into my DD and my analysis for AMC. Like, when is it smart for me to get back in? When I know what they're going to do. We got money going out the door to pay a bond maturity. We got probably money going out the door to settle a lawsuit. with a upcoming court date on the 26th. I still expect settlement notice to drop in our laps before then. So keep your eyes peeled and after hours every day. And let's see if I'm right. What is that going to cost? I don't know. And then shortly after that, I think we get the proxy with our clue of what they plan on doing about being out of shares. And that is the biggest unknown for me. They could do nothing, or they could say, we need to have some backup plan here. So guys, we need you to approve more shares, or failing that, we need you to approve a reverse split. And failing that, we're going to come up with something with preferred shares. I don't know. Or will they do nothing? Just something I'd like to have an answer to, Dink, on AMC before I get back in. Because, you know, I want to manage my risk. If you don't want to manage yours, that is 100% fine with me. I've just seen too many people crying in their cereal bowls every morning over the last 3 years because they went in too heavy without reading filings, without factoring in risk at all. So I know it's irritating that I talk about it, but I'm trying to be more balanced for those people that need to hear it. If you know about the risk and you don't care, by all means, do whatever you want. I'm not telling you to sell or change your mind, but there are a few people that don't read filings or financial statements. They only listen to social media, and they're not getting exposed to the fact that all these things exist, because the people that are promoting the stock don't want to cover inconvenient facts, just like any stock. They only want to cover the ones that suit their narrative to buy every day, any day, every price, and don't worry about anything else. Just trust the plan. I trust that box office is going up over the next 2 years, but I also can read an income statement and a balance sheet and management footnotes, and I can make some other predictions. Richie Rich says, I need to learn a Tony DeNaro patience chart. Just, if you're not in the Discord, Richie, come in. Join the Discord. I'm often saying to people, especially when stocks start moving up in pre-market, you know, when AMC was running $4, I was like, just hold your horses, guys. Good time to think about selling call options, because this little rally ain't going to last. Be patient, wait for the dip. And with all stocks, you know, we
Spike VT donated $2 through Super Chat. Keeping it real.
Thank you, Spike. I appreciate you supporting the channel, and a common sense message. I was just about to say, all of these speculative trades that I'm talking about, that you hear me talking about risk, don't think for a second that I'm not trading them, or that I wouldn't trade them. I would. I love pumped plays by penny stock promoters. I love those tickers, because why? If we identify them early enough and get a good entry, we can sell. We were talking about another ticker. Oh, look, the lights are blinking. It worked. My IFTTT. If this, then that. Yeah. If you do a super chat, it makes those lights blink in the background through the power of the interwebs. I have super chat tied through magic strings, automatically making the lights blink. I want to get a fog machine and a confetti thing. Like if a super chat of $50 come in, it shoots confetti right in my face, and then maybe it should shoot water in my face and then drop confetti from the ceiling. That would be funny. We play all these momentum tickers. You know, if you're in the Discord, you don't hear me shitting on these tickers. You might hear me sound like it. Might sound like that on YouTube, because I'm reading company guidance. Don't get mad at me for reading a company filing. I'm not being bearish. I'm literally reading what the company wrote. And the reason it sounds bearish is because you're listening to promoters who won't tell you what the company is saying. They only talk about the dream. This $1 stock's going to $1,000, guys, because what if? I will trade those stocks. And like I was just saying in the VIP section of the Discord, there's one that we're investigating right now. You know, if you could buy it at $1 and the promoters are telling people it's going to 1,000 and they're going to hold, and they run it up to 4, you think I wouldn't take a 300% profit? Absolutely, I would. Does that mean the company is good? Absolutely not. It's just in our mind making sure we understand the risk so that we can have some common sense about when to exit a momentum trade. That's why I talk about the financials and the management notes. Not trying to talk you out of the trades. I'm often in the trades. But I want you to have your head on straight about when to exit. There's too many people are just listening to nonsense price targets, and then they get trapped. I saw people yesterday on this G-Bucks. You know, they were buying at $4 or $5. They're like, oh, they're asking the promoters on YouTube, I'm in G-Bucks at $4 to $5 because you told me it was going to 1,000 based on a special dividend. I'm deeply in the red now. I'm down 50% since you promised me 2 weeks ago it was going to the moon. Should I sell that at a loss and move over into this little shitty stock that's trading at 38 cents? Should I do that? What's your advice? You're just jumping from one dumpster to another dumpster. I mean, what? Maybe you should have thought about not putting all your nest egg in one ticker. That would be my first thought. Then you have money to spread around if you want to play 4 highly speculative tickers. Spread your risk. Size your position so that if you get dropped 50%, you don't got to cry. If I'm trading these, I'm trading on a small position size. I'm not trying to turn $5,000 into $5 million. Like, I mean, they will literally talk about this on their YouTube channels. Guys, if you buy this, just go buy 100,000 shares of this 38-cent stock and imagine if it goes to $3. Yeah, imagine it all day long. That's how they lure you in. You know, the Pied Piper. This is what they really are. That's what they should have, not the little Pied Piper flute. These fucking clowns. Tricking people into overinvesting in shitty stocks. Not saying don't do it, but manage your risk. And, you know, if you buy 1,000 shares and they go to 0, not a big deal. If you buy 1,000 shares of a 38-cent stock and they go to 50% drop, not a big deal. But if that is all the money you had, it becomes a bigger deal, right? There are literally people buying tens of thousands of this ticker every day. RLAIF. Well, I hope it does go to $3 for them. We'll find out. We'll find out on their next earnings. What's up with that little company? Anya says, if you're playing a momentum trade and plan to get out quickly, why do you worry so much about financials? Anya, excellent question. If you're day trading at Anya, probably don't even need to look at the financials, right? If you're just scalping in and out for 10, 20% runs in a day, we don't even look at financials. We look at the chart. But the reason I look at the financials is there are YouTube channels and X space hosts who will cover these tickers for months or years, telling people that they're about to run, and they trick people into holding these stocks, even though they're falling. Look at this one, 10%, 15% a day. And I want to get in the mind of the mentality of these promoters. I want to be able to identify their lies. I can only do that if I'm intimately familiar with the financials and what management's saying. Once you read what management's saying, it becomes very transparent when the promoters are lying to you. Very transparent. And I want to get in the mind of understanding the psychology of the retail traders who get tricked by this stuff. Sometimes, like when we trade finger, it took 4 months, Anya, for it to run from $1 to $5. We might not swing trade them for a day. But if we understand the financials, we might say, as momentum traders or longer term swing traders in a highly speculative stock, we might, by understanding the financials and the psychology of retail, who is being told buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, that we might say for us on this channel, $1 is a reasonably safe entry, especially on the heels of the company doing a dilution, because now they've given themselves runway. That's what happened in December. That's why I went in right after the dilution notice. Most of the risk had then been wiped off the map for finger for several months anyways. And yeah, it ran up from $1 to $5. Beautiful. But you got to understand the financials if you're holding that trade, because it is highly speculative, and the company's still talking about needing more capital raise. And being educated, being non-emotional, being able to do non-emotional analysis of the situation and non-judgmental reading of what management's telling you would then tell you if it's run up 400%, it'd probably make good sense to take some profits off, or all. That's why I look at it, for multiple of reasons. To understand when the promoters are lying, so I can talk about the company intelligently. If it's something they're just promoting for a day or a week, I don't even bother with it. But there are literally people on all these tickers I have on the screen here telling folks every day right now, every minute, every hour, to keep buying these stocks as they plummet 10, 15% a day. Keep buying it. Keep buying it. Keep buying it. You're going to be rewarded one day. God damn, man. I'd want to go, lie face down in the bathtub for an hour if I was in a stock that's going down 10, 15% a day. What are you doing? Like, have some trading rules. Another base rule on this channel is know your exit before you take your fucking buy. Have an exit plan if things don't go like the promoters promised you, and then stick to it. I will sell stocks if it didn't go the way that I want and I start getting in the red. I've already predetermined my exit price. There was one company in the past 5 years where I made an exception to that, AMC. And that was a painful reminder why you have rules. When things are not going your way, exit the play, take a breather, do some more research, and figure out, if you really love the company, when and where is it going to bottom out, because you can always get back in. But just to sit there and take 10, 15% rundowns like G-Bucks, it's like that. It's like the fucking videos of the simp dudes that kneel down, and the girl with her leather boots comes and kicks them in the nuts over and over. That's what these investors are doing to themselves. The investors are the simp kneeling down on the pavement, and the penny stock promoters on YouTube and X are the girls dressed up in makeup with high heels kicking them in the nuts. Keep buying, you dumbass. Keep buying, you simp. Keep buying, you fool. One day you're going to be happy you did. You know what? You know what I'll be happy is waiting for the chart to bottom out. Waiting for some real news and then taking a chance. I'm not going to sit here and get kicked in the nuts every day. That is just stupidity. I don't get the mentality of these people. And maybe some of them aren't even real. Maybe they're just more bot accounts of the promoters. Maybe they're part of the scam. I don't know. I saw someone, that you guys know, has been promoting Mullen every day for the last few weeks, talking about how it's about to vibrate up to the green. Meanwhile, any casual reading of Mullen's financials would let you know that the company itself has sold bonds and warrants, which are continuously adjusting the conversion price down. This is what we call toxic convertible note dilution. Look at fucking Mullen, down 30% today, and these clowns have the nerve to tell people that this thing is about to run. It's vibrating, guys. There's an E wave about to hit. One poor SOB in this promoter's comments yesterday said, I followed your advice. I bought Mullen at $5. My stop loss got triggered at $3, and now I'm out $20,000. This is what pisses me off. I mean, the guy lost $20,000 in a matter of a couple days listening to some dumbass talk about vibrations on a chart and ignoring that the company has built-in toxic dilution. They have no revenue, and they're trying to scrap out and stay alive as long as they can. And the dilution is not going to end with Mullen until they file bankruptcy. Why would anybody promote this stock? I don't know. I mean, no revenue, no chance. 99% probability of Chapter 11, Chapter 7, just a matter of when. And it is an amazing story that they've been able to keep it alive this long. Kick him in the nuts. Kick him in the nuts, you promoters. Oh, man. And these guys somehow maintain followers, or are they part of the bot scam network, of the pumper network? I don't know. Anya. Anya says AMC is moving up. Oh, I like to see that. 1.9%. Cinemark is up. IMAX is up. Marcus is flat. Let's check Dolby. That is another ticker I own. DLB is flat. How are we looking on Dolby? 67 up to 75. This is a long-term play that I have. Look, I think if you're long-term bullish on the cinema industry, if you believe that box office is going to go up into 2026, 2027, there are some low-risk plays. IMAX being one of them, DLB being another. But you must get a good entry, because look at IMAX. It's above our, it's above the supply zone, which could signal a new breakout. I mean, this could be good news. Or it could pull back down into a point where we'd like to buy it again. Look at that, $20 if you bought in the demand zone, up to almost $30 right now. Not a bad trade in a couple months. I mean, would you like to make 30% in 2 months with relatively safe trade? We've looked at the report card for IMAX. It's almost all green, not one red or yellow flag on there. That is called a safe layup. I'll take 10 of those. Thank you. Give me 10 safe layups over one highly speculative penny stock any day of the week. I bet you over time, the traders taking 10 safe layups every 2 months come out better than the people betting their house on a 38-cent penny stock. Matt, I agree with you. Let me go. Like, how can you... That's fine to look at a chart. It's fine to interpret a chart. But you can't, and I'm not just talking about the gentleman you mentioned, but all of the Wyckoff theory people and the chart TA readers in general, they will not look at company filings if it meant saving their life or their portfolio. And I think that, you know, those are critical things to understand. What the company is doing. Donahue George was arguing with me on Twitter last night. Yeah, management's bad, but the reason Mullen's going down is because of the naked shorts. No, Donahue. They have toxic debt that the company sold with continually adjusting down conversion prices, allowing and warrants with the same situation, allowing the lenders to keep taking shares. As long as they own less than 10% per day, they just keep on taking shares from Mullen at a discount and selling them to you every day, increasing the float tens and hundreds of millions of shares. And they are driving the price down. Mullen enabled its lenders to crater this price, and it will continue. Why does Mullen do that? Because they get some money from the lenders. The lenders are the ones making bank. Meanwhile, the company is being driven into bankruptcy by agreeing to bad debt practices, and retail traders that are trying to time the chart are going to be taken to the fucking cleaners.
Wow.
It makes me so irritated. People fall for this nonsense. Like, dude, literally, read the document. Unless you like getting kicked in the nuts, read the document. Chances of getting kicked in the nuts, 99%. Chances of Mullen running from $2 to $4, 1%. I'm not going to say it's impossible. If Mullen stops diluting, or the lenders stop diluting for one day, the stock will run, just like what happened here. That's the dream that gets people coming back, right? But these are one-day miracles, and they don't often repeat. This is what repeats. Ooh. Dilution, not naked shorts. We don't need to notify the DOJ. You might want to notify the SEC that this company's CEO is corrupt, that he lies on every PR promotion that he puts out, that they've lied for years about revenue and invoices and God knows what. There hasn't been a truthful PR from Mullen. What's their accuracy rate of truthful PRs? About 10%, 90% are just lies. This CEO, if anybody, besides the ones from MMTLP, needs to be taken to court by the SEC. And I do think the MMTLP, John Berta, has some punishment headed his way. George Palikaris, I don't know if he is guilty or not, but I would like to see David Mishery in the crosshairs. I mean, he's not doing anything illegal with the toxic funding, but in my mind, he's definitely doing something illegal with the fake PR, tricking people into thinking this stock has a chance. I think you could make a case against Mullen for that. Matt, yes, exactly what Matt said. The crazy thing is these same pumpers will get mad at Adam Aaron in a company that is generating revenue, growing revenue, shrinking losses. Yes, it's taking longer than we wanted. Companies just adding liquidity through capital raises as they need to stay alive till that point where the box office enables them to be profitable. And we're finally on the cusp of that. They will get mad at Adam Aaron for ensuring the company has adequate liquidity to not have to file Chapter 11 or get forced into bankruptcy by its lenders. They will get mad at Adam Aaron, but not have one problem with all these other CEOs. Not one problem. you got to really respect the grift. Like the ability to throw a ticker you don't like under the bus while other tickers you're promoting or potentially being paid to promote, these penny stock pumpers, continue to do the exact same thing in far worse ways, and you're promoting them as stocks you're investing in. Like, what the fuck, bro? How do people not see this? Matt, you're telling me I'm not the only one who sees it, huh? Thank goodness I'm not crazy. Or am I? Spike says, Tony, you must have liked the no BS approach Ryan Cohen takes with his public statements. At least he isn't pumping like the aforementioned CEOs you brought up. I was going to say I would extend the same thought to AMC, but no, I'm not going to say that. Adam Aron has, here's what I respect about, I do respect that about Ryan Cohen, his silence. In a way, he's not adding froth to the crowd. The problem is the crowd uses the silence as a vacuum to create their own froth. That's the danger with GameStop. But I respect Ryan Cohen for not adding a high-speed mixer into the froth. He's just staying out of the fray, making sure his company is set up for the future. And I love it for GameStop. Adam Aron, here's what I respect about him. He did not jump into the naked short nonsense. He didn't hire Wes Christian. He didn't hire whatever that fucking other company is that counts, that investigates. He hasn't filed any lawsuits. He refuses to engage in that. He knows the stock's being shorted, but he didn't go into that nonsense to trap people like, a GNS or a Quantum. 50. I mean, I got a whole watch list of companies, hired share Intel. All of these companies on this watch list here have hired share Intel, and they're all doing horribly. It has done nothing for these stocks. Lawsuits, hiring Wes Christian, hiring share Intel, they've all been just absolutely floored, kicked in the nuts. And instead of focusing on improving the fundamentals, which is what I will give Adam Aron credit for. He recognizes the problem, insufficient income to cover their quarterly nut. They raise liquidity as needed until such time that they're profitable. That's up to you to recognize and trade around. That's why I'm out of the play since November, waiting to see what their next move is, and then I'll decide if I get back in AMC. But I respect that he didn't jump on the naked short grift, and he's focusing on what management should be focusing on, which is promoting the company, promoting the movie industry, innovating with new products, incrementally improving revenue, and then surviving until the industry is where they need it to be. Plus, they've been closing theaters as they can and adding new ones where it makes sense, where they can get higher return on invested capital than the ones they're closing. So AMC is a extreme test of your ability to be patient and wait for a good entry. I think that they're, if things don't fuck up here in the next couple months with this bondholder lawsuit and whatever's on the proxy statement, if we don't get torpedoed by that, I think there's a good chance, that using some patience and intelligence, you can get a cheap entry to ride into the sunset of 2027. That's what I'd like to see happen. I'd like to be that story. This guy bought AMC at the bottom and it only went up from there. He didn't have to cry for 3 years about being down 90%. There are shorts, Dink, in AMC, yes, and I have heard Adam Aron talk about them. And that, he walks a very fine line between talking about shorts I don't think he's ever really mentioned naked shorts other than to say, from what I recall, check me if I'm wrong. I mean, in the comments, he said, we don't see any evidence of so-called naked shorts. He's tweeted that out twice. Are there shorts? Absolutely. Why are the shorts there? That's your job to understand. Fundamentals. Operating losses, free cash flow negative, working capital negative, debt maturities. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why shorts are in this play. We gotta get in at a incredibly intelligent time when some of those risks are behind the company or about to be behind the company. And that will require impeccable timing. I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm going to try. Matt says Adam Aaron said publicly there is no proof of synthetic shares. They looked into it and found nothing. That is the one thing that I respect about what he said. However, he has said other things which can be misleading if you don't pay attention, like the 566 automatic conversion of convertible bonds. I do not think that's true. He carefully worded the risk about upcoming dilution. He said there will be no dilution in 2025, and people stopped listening right there, even though he very craftily went on to say in the next second, without your permission. There will be no dilution in 2025 without your permission. People stopped listening to the last, they didn't hear the last three words. But those words were there, I assure you. I've covered them on video. You can look up the transcript of the earnings call. What did he mean by that? They're out of shares. They have no ability to dilute without your permission. Of course, he needs your permission. He needs a vote. In my mind, that's like a ding, ding, pay attention. High probability that they're going to ask your permission. But what do the promoters run with? He said no dilution. No, he did not issue a firm directive saying that it's off the table. There was a qualifying preposition there. Is without a preposition? There's a qualifying word. Without your permission. That means there's a chance, I'd say a high chance, that they will be asking our permission. Matt says, just my prediction on AMC, I can see one final big drop from the lawsuit settlement with the bondholders and also addressing the lack of shares. And after that, I'll go all in, hopefully around $2. Matt, I mean, I hate to be the predictor of bad news, but that is my belief also, which is why I'm out of the play. Now, I pray that I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, great. Beautiful for everybody that is still in the play. Get those two risks out of the way and nothing but green pastures ahead. I'll be popping champagne for all of them because I can enter on any day. As soon as I know that the risk is gone, I can enter on any day. I don't need to get the bottom if I'm bullish about the next 2 years. I don't need to get the absolute bottom, whether it's $4 or $3. If I think it's going to 10 or 12, do I care if I get in at 3 or 4? Tony just said the AMC's going to 10 or 12. No, I don't know where it's going to go. It depends on earnings and dilution. But if you're bullish about the future prospects, the exact price you get in doesn't matter. But what would matter to me is if it gets knocked down from $4 to $2. I don't want to be in there for that. So I'm being extra cautious, and I've moved my money to other tickers in the industry while I am waiting for AMC to figure out what they're going to do. Those other investments I have are generally up and they're low risk. And meanwhile, I'm supporting the industry, going to movies at AMC. and closely following everything so that I will know with the most reasonable amount of speculation that we can do when safety is here and when the risk is out of the play. It'll never be risk-free, but I think we can identify a speculative low-risk entry. It's like we do on all these speculative tickers. And those of you that follow me, you know, I talk about the speculative tickers because they're the fun ones. They're the ones that have dramatic changes every single day. They're the ones that have high focus. But we like blue chip stocks. We like value stocks. We like dividend plays. We like companies where you can put money in it and just sleep well at night and wake up 3 years later and you're up. Or sometimes, you know, on some of the blue chip or value plays, we've been up 50 or 100% in a few months with almost no risk. But I don't talk about them much outside of Discord because nobody watches those videos. So why do I want to spend a day putting together a video no one's going to watch? I'll save it for the people in my Discord. People that are supporting the channel and really care and looking for similar type, high probability, high percentage gain plays that are relatively safe because they have increasing revenues and increasing profits, and we identified a cheap entry on them based on some company or industry specific risk that knocked them down temporarily. Those are the golden needles in the haystack I'm looking for every day. What is a solid play that is temporarily under pressure? We've called out so many over the last couple of years, and almost without exception, they all performed fantastically. I think the one that didn't really do much was CVS. Oh, look, $67. Got knocked down to 42. I don't remember my buy-in price. It's not on here, but we were watching CVS as it was getting obliterated, saying this company is not likely to go bankrupt, but they do have they have their own set of issues. So it's not risk-free. I ultimately exited that trade because it wasn't as quick of a turnaround as I thought. And, you know, look, if I'm wrong, if my thesis didn't work out, even if I'm a little in the red, take an exit and move that money to something you like better. It's okay. If you really love the company, buy the dip. But I wasn't in CVS because I love owning a convenience store, drugstore. I was in it because I thought it was getting beat up and it would turn around. That story is only true if you truly identified the bottom, and you're up 50% if you identified this bottom in January. $42 up to $67-$70 right now. I did not. I stopped following it once I got out, but that's probably the one I can recall that did not perform as well as we expected. And it was just about timing. It wasn't that we were wrong. I was going in it too early. Anya says, when will I consider exiting IMAX? Anya, I see IMAX as like a 2 or 3 year play at this point. Like I would like to tell you with IMAX, it's above the supply zone. Therefore, you know, there's a chance it could pull back in this demand zone. But you know what happens sometimes? I have a end of year price target you can see here of IMAX at $32. I drew this up at the beginning of this year. I think, you know, once you push up, if nothing has changed with the thesis, then supply zones can turn into demand zones. This can be a new support level. IMAX could keep going up. But in order to answer that question, Anya, you'd need to go look at analysts' expectations for earnings over the next couple years. So let's do that real quick before we wrap up, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Using a free tool like stockanalysis.com. There is a paid version of it. I like the paid version. It's one of the ones that is worth paying for if you're doing a lot of financials analysis, but there's a lot of free tools on here. The analyst forecasts, there are 11 analysts following the stock. They have a $29 average price target. We're right there. A high price target of 35. All right. This is a 12-month forecast. Going forward from here, 12 months. It's right about where they expected it to be. But if we scroll down, we can see what they're expecting in the future. And the revenue is unclear. They haven't given targets, but there are earnings per share targets. $1.86 or so. So let's just say 2029. No, let's say 2027, 223. What's the PE ratio of IMAX right now? 40. All right, so if we say a 40 PE ratio times $2, well, son of a bitch, that's an $80 price target, Anya. Even if we drop the PE ratio to something more down to earth, let's say a 30 PE ratio. Let's say that it's overpriced right now. 40 is being awarded too much. But let's say we feel like a 30 PE ratio is reasonable for IMAX, and the 2027 price, 2027 earnings is 223 estimated. Still a $66 price target. I'm fine holding IMAX for 2 years. Relatively safe. And you could double your money on safety over the next 2 years. I mean, what's the incentive to sell it? What's the incentive to swing trade it? The only incentive to swing trade it is you forecast some upcoming bad news in the industry or the economy, and you want to exit, take some profits, and wait for a dip. I don't see that for IMAX or the industry. I only see good news going forward. So, you know, I could always be wrong, but I think it's a good long-term hold. Now, that's till 2027. For whatever reason right now, we'd probably want to be out by 2027 because they're forecasting a downturn in earnings in 2028. But, you know, it's way early to be forecasting 2028 with certainty. That number may change. But if I'm looking at the data we have right now in the analyst forecast, I feel pretty good about IMAX through 2027. And we know that this is reasonable because we pay attention to the box office and the movies coming out. So I feel pretty good about it. Same thing with Dolby. Let's just see what the analysts are forecasting. DLB is another ticker I own. They're signing more and more deals with Cinemark and AMC to increase the number of Dolby theaters, which will increase their earnings and revenue. Analysts have a 12-month price target of Dolby of $101. Now, we got in Dolby some time ago. We're going to be just fine in the next 12 months on DLB, as long as the industry and the economy keep on trucking along. Relative safety, there's almost no red flags on Dolby. I think I covered the report card in my DLB video whenever we initiated coverage on it on this channel. People say I don't ever talk about other stocks. You're not looking hard enough. We covered Dolby. It's got 35% upside with very high safety margin in terms of risk specific to the company. And if we look forward at analyst earnings forecast in 2027, we got $4.60, up 10-12% or so from where we're at right now. And the PE ratio going forward is 30. That's, fairly reasonable for this industry. Dolby has its tentacles in more than just the movie industry. So you got licensing revenue from other things like, audio and electronics products. It's not tied just to the movie industry, but a good chunk of its revenue comes from cinema and licensing fees from cinemas. And I think if we had 460 times 30, what would that get us? $460 is the 2027 median analyst forecast for earnings times 30, which is the current forward PE ratio, $138 price target, 2027. That's not my number. This is using analyst expectations for 2027 earnings and today's forward PE ratio, $138. That's how you do DD. You don't go in a penny stock that's trading at 38 cents where there's no analyst coverage and say, this could be a $17 stock. Based on what? Your hopes, your dreams, your prayers? You want to kick us in the nuts? I mean, I hope you're right, but what are you basing your claims on? Hope. Hope is what you're basing your claims on. And while you're hoping, you're also praying to the gods, both old and new, that the company doesn't dilute out from under your ass. I'll take a Dolby or IMAX over those penny stock prayers anytime. Might not be as exciting if we're right, but it'll be satisfying. On top of that, we're not worrying about dilution at Dolby. They're buying back shares. Look at these shares decreasing. Love it. Are they paying a dividend? Sure are. Sure are. Would you rather get a cash dividend guaranteed every quarter, or would you rather listen to a penny stock promoter telling you that a special warrant dividend by this penny stock with no revenue is going to scare the shorts? Like, what the fuck do they care about a special dividend when the company has no revenue, is defaulting on its convertible notes, and generally has a failure of a business? Why would a short be worried if they even were in the play? You got to create fables. You got to create layers of fables on top of other fables to trick people into buying these penny stock pumping pieces of shit. People fall for it, though. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll trade the momentum and I'll get out. And then they'll be looking around like, where'd my money go? And we're going to be like, yep, we got in $1. We sold it for. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck with your $1,000 price target. IMAX soaring today, up 2%. GME up 3%. Beautiful. Love to see it. MSTR slightly in the red. Bitcoin 105. Tesla in the red. And AMC slightly in the green. Let's finish up looking at gold and silver. I got to go eat breakfast. Make my second cup of coffee. This one is kaput. Thank you. Thank you to my wife for the coffee mug. No, I don't. I did not buy this for myself. Good morning, handsome. It even got a mustache on there. She's like, I like it when you're scruffy. Oh, you like it when I look like a homeless bum, huh? All right. If that makes you happy, that's fine. Gold and silver is still up. SLV, however, is slightly in the red. Hycroft down another 5% today. I am carefully watching Hycroft. I need to go draw in, now that we got the dilution out of the way, I need to go draw some supply and demand zones and see if I want to do a wager on Hycroft. You know, my honest thoughts are, once dilution is out of the way, then you start paying attention for the next swing trade cycle. But Hycroft will be highly dependent, like we said the other day, on the price of silver and gold. If those start falling, Hycroft will fall. And it will be dependent on later this year, the technical report that they publish. So it's not risk-free by a long shot. Even with dilution out of the way, there's a couple major things that could take it either way. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. But I do like speculative stocks. Maybe I'll buy a handful of shares just for fun. In our meme stocks that the penny stock promoters are pumping the pundits with the sweet lies. There's Pumping Finger, it's down 2%. Nixie down 3%. G-Bucks down 6%. RLAIF down 4%.
Chinga tu madre!
Good luck. You know, I'm watching all these tickers patiently to figure out where they bottom out, because they will get pumped again. Once a pump, always a pump. We can play these, but we got to be smart about an entry. Don't even read the Weeble chat on these tickers, guys. You're gonna get bombarded with shorts are scared now. Thanks for the dip, shorty. Ignore the trolls. Ignore Tony DeNaro talking about those financial disclosures from management. Going concern means nothing. Accumulating more here, just added to my position. Averaging down. You know, all the same shit. Every ticker, same shit. It's called coping instead of being patient, sitting it out, watching the chart, and being intelligent about an entry. I never tell you don't trade these stocks, but I will remind you, be patient if you love them, get a good entry, and then sell into run-ups. AK ahead, what's up? He says, I personally used to think this way about the market. I thought a penny stock that cost 38 cents. How did my oh, okay. It's my calculator in front of Streamlabs. Bottom right. There we go. Right. Get the right screen up here. Well, Head says, I used to think that way about the market. I thought a penny stock that cost 30 cents could come up to $5 or 10. They can if they have a low float and a proper pump from the promoters. But that will be a FOMO pump. Go ahead. Not a naked short pump. They absolutely can go from 38 cents to $3 or $5. It's up to you to realize that they are lying to you about naked shorts. Nobody fucking cares about a 38 cent stock on the OTC market. There's no shorts. That is a lie they tell you, because these promoters are holding a sizable position in the trade, and they need you to push the stock up. If the company were to announce some good news, that could also fire off a temporary FOMO squeeze. Those are when you take your exits. Just forget about the naked short nonsense. Get a good entry, wait for company good news, or wait for a pump cycle. I have no problem with that. I do it often. What I won't do is come on here and lie to you every day about why $17 price target is reasonable based on no evidence, just hope. Or, you know, speculation about hundreds of billions of naked shorts. I listened to a space call from Flamsham, and he said, you know, Alibaba's about to buy in. It's a done deal. I know about it, Flamsham says, but that's not insider information. It's just a rumor. Yeah, we see you, liar. We see you, liar, liar. My head says, then I learned my lesson and I just bought more GameStop buy and hold. Did you get in some GameStop yesterday, Wahed? 21.50, 21.60. I think that's a reasonable wait for a good entry price. That's where I'm in at. Hope so. We're in the green today. Let's go, GameStop. Now we just sit back and be patient for a couple months, I think. And, you know, if you're especially bold and you have a sizable position in these companies, then you run the wheel on them. Even though the GameStop YouTubers will tell you, oh, don't do that. Don't you dare sell $35 calls on GameStop. What are you doing, bro? You're going to miss the MOAS. Yeah, I've been listening to your dumbass say that. You loudmouth, blustering idiot. I've been listening to you say that for 4 years, and I've been watching people make fucking bank selling covered calls. Meanwhile, you're in the red, 6,000. And you refuse to take active management of your portfolio and make speculative. Yeah, you might lose your shares at $35. Who the fuck cares if you bought them at 21 or 25? If you think it's going to go up to 100 or 500, you should always have what? Hedging. Buy some long dated, far out of the money calls. Quit telling people to sell covered calls because they can be making money every fucking week. And if they're worried about it running up and losing their shares, you know what the hedge to that is? Buy some inexpensive, far out of the money, long dated calls. And you will be fine if you lose your shares. If that's what you're worried about. God, man, like, how is this not common sense? You're going to not make money on your portfolio like every institution or professional trader does because you're listening to some guy streaming from his basement with a bunch of GameStop bags on the back wall telling you don't sell covered calls because you might lose your shares. Buy some fucking calls then. Use some of your proceeds from selling covered calls where you're going to make bank every week. Use some of that to buy long dated calls as insurance. Far cheaper because you're buying them way out of the money, right? You think it's going to 500. Buy the highest price call option you can if that's what you're worried about. But they can't tell you that because they don't trade options. They only want to sell you the dream because they're holding a bag. They need you to buy the shares. They don't want you to make money every week. They don't want you to make money every week. They need you to buy the shares, these GameStop promoters. I'll buy the shares on my terms when it's cheap, when it makes sense, when I have a reasonable chance of making a profit. And I will take the profit when that chance arrives. Jedi Master says, I'm waiting for GameStop to reach $10. It could, but I'm not expecting it. What's the reason GameStop would go down to $10? Would be my question. And I think about that question often. The only thing I can come up with that would tank GameStop is a market crash or Ryan Cohen leaves the company. What else you got? I mean, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I'd like you to share some rational investor DD with me because I think about this stuff on every ticker. What is my downside here? It seems pretty safe at $20 because people are still willing to speculate and hold the price. It seems like there's not a lot of shorts trying to short GameStop down. That's just a fact. There are short hedged shares for the convertible bonds, but GameStop's not going bankrupt, and it's really hard to push the price down below $20. So the company's about to be profitable as they get rid of Canada and Europe. What is the short thesis for GameStop? There's none. Other than you just think it's overvalued. Okay, I'll give you that, shorts. I'm not arguing with you. It is overvalued. But there's a broad investor base that will buy up every time you push it down. So, and they haven't gone away yet, and they haven't, their willpower has not been broken. So all it's going to take is one chance. Ryan Cohen announcing some plan, if it's good, and this stock could get a massive FOMO run. If it's not a good plan, might go down, right? That I guess that's the other risk that we would look at, right? If he invested the money and Wall Street didn't like his deal. I hear people talking about, oh, he's going to buy a PSA. Okay, so what? What's their revenue in a year? 200 million? Big fucking whoop-de-doo. Big deal. It's a dot. It's a rounding error for GameStop at this point. Sufyan, what's up? Our CPA buddy says he bought a few shares yesterday at a cheap price. GameStop, good job. Jedi Master says more dilution could push the price down. Yes, I agree. And I think look, until Ryan Cohen tells us a plan, I would say do not be surprised by more dilution coming from GameStop, be it a share offering or convertible notes. He's going to continue milking the retail cash cow. Every time we drive the price up, he's going to go tap that equity market and raise money. Why not? That is being a good fiduciary of a financial steward of the company's long-term prospects. Up to you to be smart. If you want to hold it for the long term and reap the benefits of that, don't be buying at the price where he's selling. Buy down here and hope that, down here doesn't become the next price he sells at, right? You gotta hope that. I don't think he sells at $20, 21. Ryan's buying at 21. I like 21. But you should be nervous when it starts getting over 30 that he's going to go tap that secondary market. The GameStop YouTubers want to draw squiggly lines and Doritos saying it's going to 500. Horseshit. I call horseshit. Because what? GameStop, if it runs up, the convertible bondholders are going to convert and flood the market with shares, taking the steam likely out of any run-up, adding massive liquidity to the float. It's a nonsensical argument to me that you're going to see a run to $100 or $500. Even if it did start moving like that, it would get snuffed out. So I'm just trying to make sensible trades, short-term swing trade profits. And why not? All of us that are doing that have been happy, sleep well at night, don't have to wake up bleary-eyed in our dad's basement, talk about how we're red today on GameStop. Don't have to, no, never mind. I've dunked on them enough. Look, I want everybody in GameStop to succeed. You're going to succeed by unplugging from social media, buying when it's cheap, and selling into run-ups. And if you get a bonus FOMO, roaring kitty moment, that is a bonus. It should not be an expectation. Jedi says, I don't look to fundamentals. I look purely at TA. I mean, that is a strategy. It's not one I personally agree with. A lot of people like it, though. We look at TA, absolutely, but we have a second layer of fundamentals and financials and management strategy. If you're going to be holding something for a while, I think that is a vital thing, because these people can call all the blips and segments on the Wyckoff all they want, but if they're ignoring the fundamentals, the filings, the management guidance, they're going to be calling for a massive run up and ignoring the fact that management is likely to dilute. I'm not going to ignore that. Where I will look at TA in a chart and not the financials, as we were talking about an hour ago, is only if it's a swing trade for the day. Then I don't care. But the longer I'm holding it, the more I want to understand the fundamentals. You could be right, Jedi. I mean, it could drop to 10. But I think, and I'm okay being wrong, because I size my risk appropriately, and I have an exit plan if it starts tanking. You know, I would, without hesitation, if I'm wrong on GameStop and I start getting in the red, I will exit the play immediately. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to ride my position down from $21.61 to $10. If something changes where I am wrong, I will be exiting GameStop immediately and waiting to see where it bottoms out. And then I'll use that money that I saved to go back in and buy even cheaper. It's not going to hurt my feelings if you're right, because I will be out of the trade, preserving my capital. But I don't think it's a high probability. Fair value on GameStop is around $11.16 based on book value per share. $10 would be a screaming buy, because then you're back in deep fucking value territory. You'd be at a market cap under book value. That's why the closer it gets to $10 now, the more impossible it is to drive it down that low. People are going to start realizing that it's getting pushed down to book value, and they're going to very confidently buy in. So I'd say the chart would lie to you on GameStop at this point. Not likely. Now, if you recall, back in the day when it was trading well above $9.99 or whatever it went to, when it was trading at $20, I did say on live streams, I see GameStop going down to $10. I made a bet with what's his name? One of the GME, AMC YouTuber dudes. He said, no way, GameStop's going to $10. I made him a bet, and 6 months later, I won that bet. I was using a combination of TA, fundamentals, financial analysis, yada, yada, yada. But then the game changed. Didn't mean I wanted GameStop to go down to $10, but at the point where it hit that, then the game changed. And it's only been going up since then. Up and to the right. That's a good point to end this live stream. I'm going to eat some breakfast, make some coffee. Thank you for the great chat. Sufyan, Jedi Master, Wahed, Anya. I will check out T2. Thank you. Let's close with a little bit of Up and to the Right, a song that is near and dear to my heart. The lyrics were written by you guys. The lyrics on this song that I wrote come straight from social media. If you find them encouraging or humorous, blame social media. And let's go GameStop.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays, my fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, the mass is in sight.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.
A red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the short, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Green candle up and red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, GameStop's rising slow and strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, fuck the shorts, we're going long. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the short, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Keep the waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the short, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love